from the creator and executive producer of Playboy TV's The Truth About Sex, Science Channel's Punkin' Chunkin', NBC's My Dad Is Better Than Your Dad, and all three of TLC's Invasion of the Christmas Lights. Plus, he also ran the series Penn and Teller Bullshit, and was one of the original writers on Politically Incorrect. Comes the new 6-hour series, This versus That.
I looked out the window and the left engine was on fire.
On an all-new This versus That. If you survive a plane crash and land in water, which flotation device is more likely to save your life?
It's a horrible landing.
The seat cushion or the life vest? And why are the hosts underwater? To make all of this more scientific. And who are all the people? They're helping with the experiment, and they're single. Did I mention Brad is the director? Plus, we reveal which popping method yields the fluffiest popcorn with the fewest unpopped kernels.
It's very sciencey.
You're dying. You're suffocating.
What is This versus That? It's the show that uses science to investigate questions everyone seems to have.
Blackjack or crap? Should I buy a hybrid car? Use a life vest or the seat
But
cushion?
no one else can seem to answer.
Not it.
And these are your guys. There's Mark DiCarlo.
Dwarves, druids, a murder of crows.
Chris Tallman.
Sleeping
And Brad Sherwood. They're three friends with an intense curiosity about how the world really works.
You are an idiot.
And now, they've been handed the tools, granted access, and provided the resources to find out. They'll ask questions.
What's the best type of food to have on your house in a hurricane zone?
Speak with the experts, conduct experiments,
I can't feel my fingertips.
and discover the facts. Then, at the end of each episode, your questions will be answered.
Really?
Yes. That's great. Yes. The science within arm's reach will be made clear. And the right decision for you to make will ultimately be revealed.
I'm not sure what we proved, but we did it.
This versus that.
Switched off at this time. We would like to suggest the use of your seatbelts at all times while seated. A little later on in the flight, we'll be opening our
Right after the bird strike shook the plane quite violently, I looked out the window and the left engine was on fire. 90 seconds before we actually hit the water, the pilot finally made his first announcement, and that was, "This is your captain speaking, brace for impact."
And in those 90 seconds, what decision did Ben Bostic make to aid in his own survival?
When the plane ditched in the water, I didn't even think about the life vest initially. During the entire plane ditching experience, I didn't see anyone try to grab their life vest from under the seat. I was focused on getting out of the plane first and didn't remember hearing an emergency announcement, the instructions or anything of that nature, so I was really just focused on evacuating.
Ah, the safety announcement. We've all ignored it. In the event of an emergency, grab a flotation device. Place your arms through the straps. Do not inflate until you exit the plane. Look for the nearest. Don't panic. Blah, 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 blah.
One thing people should know about the emergency situation that I experienced is that plane crashes are survivable.
Listening to Ben tell his amazing story got us thinking about air travel.
Wait, hang on. What's the end of the story? Did Ben survive?
Of course.
Oh,
That's the whole point of it.
spoilers. Okay.
You know what? Come to
well,
rehearsal.
well,
Diva.
Why don't you get to the end of the story?
Okay. We've all flown a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us even without our parents.
That's right.
We've heard that safety speech hundreds of times. Sometimes the flight attendants even demonstrate the use of a life vest.
Put the vest on over your head, pull down on the red tabs, get back in coach, Mr. Sherwood, that's not your seat, blah, blah, blah.
Sometimes it's how to use the seat cushion as a flotation device.
Put your arms through the straps, hold close to your chest, Don't make us call the air marshals, Mr. Sherwood. Blah, blah, blah.
And sometimes the flight attendant just talks about the seatbelt and how cheapos should check their bag instead of trying to shove a thing that's the size of Shamu into the overhead bin, and they don't mention the flotation devices at all.
Even though I know we're gonna fly near
All right,
water.
just relax, all right? God forbid anyone's ever in a situation like Ben Bostic, but if you are, it's always better to be prepared.
Yes.
So, which of these flotation devices is more likely to save your life? It's life vest versus seat cushion.
Now this one already starts with one strike. If you're floating in the ocean, do you really want something so close to your face that's been so close to so many butts?
Take a whiff.
I am not done with that.
Oh.
In order to make the right decision, the one that will aid in your survival rather than hasten your death, you're gonna need some information. Information you can easily discover in a motel pool.
A seat cushion is basically a giant sponge. Sponges float well when they're dry. However, after you've been in the water a while and the sponge, seat cushion, absorbs some water, now they don't float quite as well. Which is why seat cushions have the spongy side and then underneath a foam pad that doesn't absorb water and keeps you buoyant.
Now, one important thing to note is that the human body is almost exactly neutrally buoyant.
Which means on its own, it just barely floats out of the water. Like this nice lady right over here. Just barely.
Brad.
Like 2 islands floating.
Science.
All right.
Now, when you're in the water in like a crash landing scenario, you don't want to be just barely floating, you know? Because like the waves are kicking up and it's choppy. You want to have your head and shoulders out of the water. You need a flotation device. Are you having fun? Yeah? It's good for you? Good.
Good for you?
No.
It should surprise no one that both devices are heavily regulated by Uncle Sam, from material strength to durability to buoyancy.
According to the FAA, for a seat cushion to qualify as a flotation device, it has to withstand 14 pounds of force even when it is soaking wet.
And a life vest has to have 35 pounds of buoyancy force.
36 pounds if you're holding a big bag of potato chips and some onion dip.
We're now going to hook each one of these up to a buoyancy scale underwater and see how much floating pressure it pulls against the scale to measure their buoyancy force. Chris?
I'm trying.
Just like it's supposed to, the seat cushion generates 14 pounds of buoyant force. And the life vest? Bingo, 35 pounds. However, buoyancy isn't a flotation device's only requirements. So now, more of the FAA's flotation device regulations. Plus, Brad Sherwood names products, and you guess at home if they're actually available from the Sky Mall catalog.
Frequent compression, perspiration, or cleaning cannot reduce the seat cushion's buoyancy.
Life-size Bigfoot garden Yeti sculpture.
The seat cushion must remain buoyant for 8 hours.
Kindle Fire with dedicated pacemaker USB hub.
The seat cushion can't deteriorate as a result of prolonged moisture exposure.
Toilet roll iPod docking station.
Oh, I've seen it. That's real.
That is?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's not real and that you are a gypsy.
No.
It's real, and you can listen to rap while you take a crap.
The fabric on the life vest must have a tensile strength of 210 pounds per inch.
Polarized canine sunglasses.
Proper application can't choke or restrict blood flow.
With the regulations behind us, it's time for our first practical test. How well do these flotation devices work in an emergency scenario? On the edge of a hotel pool that doesn't come nearly close enough to a real disaster, but will be illustrative nonetheless.
All right, let's go as fast as you can.
Coming up, if you survive an airline crash in near freezing water, one flotation can help save your life. The other will hasten your death.
I can't feel my fingertips.
And the secret ingredient that makes popcorn uniquely fluffy, salty, and delicious will be revealed. But first, ever wonder why some airline flights have both a seat cushion and a life vest? Here's the answer.